Like I say, from a vet standpoint, we're often trying to summarize morbidity, mortality, and performance, whether that's intakes, average daily gain, or your conversions. And we tend to report that to our clients weekly through some of our health visits or monthly. And generally, I mean, the health summary report, typically suffices very nicely. So it is a nice canned report. But many of our feedlots also have a lot analysis report by pen that I can also look then at their intakes as we're putting new cattle on to feed to see are they coming up in intakes the way we'd like to see, what ration and maybe what their estimated gain is going to be. I don't think that's probably different than what most of you already do. We also use it for managing if there's individual health events or in lots or groups of cattle as well, that we can, like I say, the flexibility is there is to drill down then to the individuals and see what they are treating or what groups or pens are causing us issues so we can further investigate that. We also have some feedlots that are, using some of these in-cohort groups as well, and it's been really interesting when we start linking individuals to those and can start looking at gains or looking at health events relative to some of these in-group. Is there trends there between where you're purchasing some of these groups of cattle and some of the health or performance differences between cattle groups. I like the on-farm control of the data. We do have some feedlots that we work with that are further abroad, and so being able to access those through TeamViewer is also nice, but I can understand being able to keep your data local is certainly nice. I've had the opportunity on the cattle side to work with many different software packages, and what I really like about Fusion is that it's fully integrated. Your health, nutrition, the inventory, the financial billing, it's all right there. And I think that's very, very powerful. Just a simple comment. So when we're looking at health events, those of you using Fusion, it seems pretty no-brainer that we look at it on a head day basis. In a lot of cases, if you don't have the inventory or some of the other aspects that in their other packages, you don't have that as an option to know what is our current inventory of this particular type of cattle group. So it does make it a little bit more challenging in those software. You're typically looking at a percentage of head placed as compared to really looking at disease incidence rates. So where you've got both your head and days on feed accounted for, which is I think more powerful. So like I say, that's from a vet standpoint. As a researcher, once again, hands down, Fusion is amazing as a data collection tool. It offers the flexibility that we can add new fields if there's new information that we want to gather or pick up. And what I like about it is that the crew is already more fluent in it than I often am. So I tell them, well, this is what we need to do to gather that data, and they can work with me and we can get it done. And so very, very useful. I admit, when we're randomizing cattle through the chute, it doesn't have that built in for doing that, but it doesn't need to be. We often just use systematic randomization or gate sort to put our cattle into treatment groups. As Dirk mentioned, the beauty is that this data then is easily exportable into Excel. And that's often where a lot of our data gets compiled and then eventually analyzed. And what I like is that they're so customizable. I've also had the opportunity with my time here is we combine a lot of our Fusion data with a carcass database, and the two merge fairly well. And so it's nice that we can move data around like that into different programs or other software packages, to further enhance, the information that we can gain from Fusion. So, from the actual data analysis, like I say, a lot of that I tend to do in Excel. As Dirk said, it's an incredibly powerful software package on its own. We do use statistical software packages when it's needed. Like I say, by and large, we do a lot of benchmarking or comparison of health data, which is more descriptive, looking at sort of your crude morbidity, mortality, or breaking that down into cause-specific. The drug costs, tracking that, as well as analyzing if there's specific health issues. If you've got a group with poor health or performance or dark cutters, and oftentimes that's more retrospective, looking backwards and trying to understand why some of these wrecks or issues happen. On the research side, like I say, Fusion is valuable because we can compare vaccination protocols or treatment protocols or other management strategies very simply, okay? And I'd encourage you as managers of your operations is to challenge yourself with that. There's a lot that can be learned, and having information that's very specific to your operation is very powerful. And so it doesn't have to be health related like I have listed up there, whether it's your vaccination or what drug you use on arrival, but those are some examples of things, you know, that we often look at. So like I say, we strive to have replicated pens with some degree of randomization in these studies, but it doesn't have to be perfect trials like that. I think what I challenge you is to use the data that's there. You're putting a lot of effort into trying to collect data, and like I say, if you're going to use it to make better decisions, that's ultimately what we want to see. So in summary, like I say, to me, Fusion is just a very powerful collection tool. The value to me is that our clients are so used to using it, and the better that is, we say that your data is only good as the accuracy that you collect within that, and I think that is the value that with Fusion, our clients are good at working with it, and I think they do a good job. They're comfortable using it. Some of the new opportunities that I consider, even on a projections calculator like that, is maybe we could eventually drill back and see, well, this is what these hide colors or some of these different, you get different composition that comes in these different groups as well that could ultimately, affect the performance or your break-evens on that group as well. So there's different ideas that I could see coming into that, but the more data that we can use, the better we can manage that group. I think Megan was talking about weight sorting this morning, but maybe there's other factors that you'd consider in your sorts that can ultimately affect the uniformity of the cattle going out, and we can do a better job, not of just managing weights, but managing yield grade 4s and 5s, et cetera, right? There's different things that we could do. So anyhow, to me, it's valuable if you use it to make better decisions, because you can't manage what you don't measure. So to me, data analysis is a very important part of that. And maybe I'm just plugging for job security, but no, I do really believe that that's the value of investing in a program like Fusion, is to use that. So that is basically all I prepared for you. So I think I got you back on time, Chris. So any questions or comments or snide remarks, I guess?
Questions? Awesome. Thank you, Steve.